chin, and Ben Taylor is the match referee. And we alluded to the fact last night that Ben Taylor, Gareth Hewer and possibly Phil Bentham in line for the big match at Wembley next weekend. Ben Taylor, the top referee in the business. I think if he performs tonight, Steve-O, he will be running out at Wembley with Hull and Warrington next week.
Yeah, I think he will. He knows how to handle the rough and tough games, and this is what it's going to be. Boy, just hang on to your seats, because this will be absolutely 100% rough and tough.
Well, we hope so. There have been a few blowouts in the Super 8s this year already. There shouldn't be anything like a blowout here tonight. It'll be very interesting to see how this one pans out. Ben Taylor blows the whistle. Here we go then. This meeting of Wigan and Saints at the DW Stadium is underway, and Ben Flower drives the ball in for the first tackle of the match.
I mentioned before the fact that the big problem for Wigan of late has been their inability to get over on the sets of six into the opposition half. And you'll see a lot more, shall we say, enthusiasm from the forward, from the Cherry and Whites tonight. Interesting to see with the fact that Luke Walsh not there, his kicking game will be missed, but therefore you'd have to look for John Wilkin and of course James Roby kicking right from the dummy half position.
Sam Powell at dummy half there. Matty Smith puts off the ball off on his inside and finds Ben Flower. They've reached tackle number 5, so this is the last one, and Matty Smith hoists the kick high. Now then, there's a chase on here, and Jack Owens is underneath it and claims it neatly.
Good kick and chase, and that was good work by the Wigan forwards. Got themselves into a very good position, and if they can keep that defence now, they've got to keep their eye on the official. It has been a problem from time to time with Wigan getting out of the blocks a little bit too early, giving away a silly penalty, and that's a lost ball.
It is. It's the 4th try hero of last week, Adam Swift. It's a loose carry. He gets a pat on the back from Theo Farge. Little shake of the head. Not the best start for Swift.
Well, it's a perfect start for Wigan, haven't they? They've got 90 metres in the first set by the time they've turned the ball over, and then they've squeezed hard in the tackle. Arms and bodies evolved there, and then extra efforts forced the ball free. Wigan will start the second set of possession inside their opponent's 20 metre zone. Disappointment to nerves here now for Swift. They've got to hold out.
90th appearance for Adam Swift. He's got 66 tries. He hopes that Wigan will not score one and Saints will concede one early in the piece here tonight. Here is Anthony Gelling now for the Wigan Warriors.
And it just shows you that just basic football, which will please Sean Wayne, is to get into good position, force the error, which they've done.
Willie Isa struggling to get to his feet. Sam Powell in at dummy half, 10 metres away. Gives the pass then to Smith. Short ball from him then to Bateman.
Looked a bit forward for mine.
St Helens supporters behind those posts would agree with you. Powell waits again. Turns it into centre field. It's Matty Smith. Smith then looks for the runners. It's Williams. Here is Liam Farrell. That's a good hit by Dominique Peyrou.
Great tackle by the centre.
Sergeant
as well.
Into dummy half. Gives Williams the pass. Williams taking them on. Decent defence in the end from Greg Richards. Powell once more. Last one here for Wigan. Tompkins gets it wide to Gelling. Oh,
short. Just short.
Well, that's your view. I wonder what the version of events is on the field from touch judge and referee Ben Taylor. They'll make the sign in a moment. They're going to hand this upstairs to video referee James Child. They believe they've got a try on the field. Stuart Cummings, it's all about the grounding.
It is. Certainly looked like he had a lot to do. Big stretch out of the arm. Did he actually get the ball on the line? Remember, the ball only has to touch any part of that goal line for it to be a try. But he's certainly got a good grip on the ball. So we'll see whether he gets as far as the goal line. Does it touch the line? Well, I think you've got to say it does. I don't see how you can say from that angle certainly that it didn't touch the line. Do we see anything different from this one? Certainly has a grip on the ball, doesn't lose it. That's it, that's on the line, that's okay.
That's a fabulous try, that, isn't it?
Great work from Anthony Gelling, back from 7 out against Castleford last week. Certainly looks like this has got just the merest of touch on that goal line.
Yeah, it's a forearm that's rolled it over. The first impact is in away from the line, but you can see the forearm, and that's all it needs. He's short for the first impact with his fingertip. This should be given.
50 days to go to the grand final. And it's a try for Wigan early against the arch rivals. A big start for Sean Wayne, a big start for Wigan, a disastrous start for Adam Swift.
St Helens, they took the dummy in the fact that they thought that Wigan was going to utilise the kit. And you can see that George Williams, when the ball comes through, it all came about from the loose carry by the winger and get themselves into a position. It looked as though they were going to go for the kick, but they just pull it out wide, and the long arm of Gellin has done the trick.
But when you run hard, you tackle hard. But Gellin, this is just amazing strength. He pumps the ball to Josh Charlie, backs himself to go over and score a try. But for Saints, they've got to ride these tough periods at the minute.
Matty Smith then with the chance to add the extras. It's obviously tight to the touchline on that far side. This will be one heck of a kick if he gets it. And one heck of a kick it is. Wigan are ahead by 6 points to 0.
Well, I think Anthony Gelling's just underlined here how dangerous it can be if he gets the early ball, give him the ball and then take on his opponents. He had both Matthew Fleming and Adam Swift there ahead of him. But he's such a big, powerful player. You know what? Things happen when he's around the ball. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. And on that occasion there, he's given Wigan a perfect start. 4-0, 6, and they've only touched the ball twice.
And 4.5 minutes gone. There's the try scorer underneath the kickoff. Here comes Welsh international Ben Flower again, met by Alex Walmsley, met by John Wilkin. Jordan Turner was in attendance as well.
Good tactics though, wasn't it, by the Warriors? That ability to not take the opportunity to put the kick into the corner. They went for the power play. Gelling did the rest.
Willie Isa will take the ball forward. Here now is Liam Farrell. They've missed Liam Farrell this year, have Wigan. Tompkins comes to the left-hand side with the reigning Young Player of the Year, George Williams, who could easily be a candidate for this year's Man of Steel crown. He plays the ball to Sargentson. This now Smith. Here is Isa again, over halfway. They reach tackle 5. Hulkingston Rovers ahead 6-0 against Salford. That's not the best start for Salford, bearing in mind what happened last week in the qualifiers against the Lee Centurions. Tries from Salford, Hull KR before we go off the air here tonight. Kieran Cunningham looking a little bit concerned. Tommy Martin, one of the former greats of St Helens, just behind him. There he is, looking a little bit like a Hollywood film star with that stubble on his chin.
You've got an amazing imagination, Eddie, and the one thing that Kieran Cunningham will be very pleased with is that the kick there from Sam Tompkins.
Well, they believe he's a Hollywood hero in St Helens because he got a hat-trick on his first visit to this ground for the Saints.
Do they have a cinema there?
Oh, well, I hope you get the letters. That was not me. This is Johnny Lomax.
Bit high there from John Bateman, and Lomax didn't like it, went looking for him.
Turner,
That's a
nice
great
kick. Yeah, it's a lovely little kick from Turner. Just settles the affair down, gives them some good territory.
Well, it's good vision from Jordan Turner on the fourth play, just to kick it into the corner. The team can just trap Wigan, just come up with what they want to do with defence, and will it be Sam Tompkins or Jordan Turner that's joining John Wells at the screen full time? We shall wait and see.
A lot's been said about the absence of Luke Walsh, and of course they'll miss him, but it might bring more out of players like John Wilkin, Jordan Turner, James Roby. We might see them obviously touch the ball and be more influential than they would and are when Luke Walsh plays for the team, which might be an added threat for them tonight.
Remember 4 weeks ago Wigan took the lead. It was only 4 points though. The conversion was missed after Don Manfredi, the absent Don Manfredi's try. It was Lewis Tierney after the absent Lewis Tierney's try early. Here it is Anthony Gelling who is marking his comeback to the Super League with that try. That's a solid hit and a great run from Ben Flower, brave.
Yeah, good hit from Greenwood. He works overtime. But again, you'd see Wigan, good, solid work. Nothing fancy, just sheer guts and determination. They're over the halfway line now.
They are with Don Crosby, ball in hand. That's a great run from Crosby. He took 2 men with him for the last 8 or 9 metres of that carry.
Just a little bit slow to get up and play the ball. They wanted a little bit quicker than that.
Nice little kick from George Williams. Look where it lands, and Jack Owens has got work to do here. He gets as far as Sargentson's chest and no further.
Tremendous work there by George Williams. He got the backspin on with the kick. He really is improving each game, isn't he? He's been a tremendous asset, the young fella, Jordan Williams.
Stand square! Put the side play on.
Well, it looked a while ago that St Helens, they might even struggle to make the top four. Right now they could enter the semi-finals on the back of 12 straight wins. But they've got a bit of work to do here tonight. They're trailing after 8.5 minutes. Here's Jordan Turner. Back it goes then to Wilkin. Wilkin with a deep kick. I think he had the thoughts of a 40-20 in his mind. Picked earlier by Tompkins.
I just wondered whether Saints would go for that option where they don't wait until the last. They Wilkin kicked up on the fourth.
Play on, he's pushed forward overhead.
That's play on. That's good refereeing. There was no real interference. Both of them got a little bit confused. Boy, St Helens defence got out very quickly there. They've got to be careful.
Well, what Saints are doing on the first three plays when Wigan have got the ball, they're condensing the line because they know that Wigan's play coming out of yardage are nice simple plays. There's a twos play there to Willie Ison which goes forward, but they're putting pressure on Wigan when they're defending near the opposition's line.
Well, it was tremendous pressure from Alex Walmsley here.
It certainly was, but it's something that Wigan, when they're in top form, definitely forward, just delayed it. No, Isa just overran it, but it's something that Wigan try all the time because it's one of the best ways of breaking down that first defence. That little short pass, sometimes you get away with it, other times you don't.
Stay on side, please. Matt, heads in, Sam. Right there, Jordan. Out!
9.5 minutes gone, and an opportunity here then for St Helens.
One
Joe
million!
Greenwood.
Right here. Go.
Roby. Walmsley, and he gets the ball away to Wilkin, and he is clawed to the ground by Bateman.
Great pass from the big fella, something we've not seen there. He's added to it. Look at the extra threat. He now carries it forward. What a good opening 10 minutes from big Alex Walmsley.
Roby waits. Wilkin drifts the kick over the top. There's chances here, and Tompkins to the rescue. Goal line dropout coming up. Greg Richards was hunting then.
Tremendous little chip over, wasn't it, there by the skipper, John Wilkin. Once again, to see the ball there on the backspin, that meant he was going to slow up on the in-goal area. Very alert, Sam Tompkins. Still got the speed to make sure that no one gets to it. But they're under pressure for the first time in this game.
He spots that space in a split second on the third play. He knew that nobody was at the back. He didn't expect Sam Tompkins to use his speed to get there. But it's a good read from John Wilkin.
Okay, Matt, stay on, boys!
Goal line dropout coming up then for Wigan. And St Helens, of course. They've got some key figures missing, so have Wigan, but so far doesn't look like there's too much troubling either side. It's a decent, vigorous start.
Move, Willie! Square up, boys, stand square, good.
Wilkin. Here's Theo Farge. Gets it away to Johnny Lomax. That could have been a penalty. It could have been, but he stopped. He stopped on the run.
Yeah, he didn't go around him. Got away with it.
Nice dink over the top again from Farge. Tompkins to the rescue once more. Good chasing by the kicker. Another goal line dropout coming up.
Yeah, top quality rugby league from both attack and defence. And Farge puts it through and finishes off with a perfect tackle. Super stuff.
Well, there's the debate, Stuart. That was the debate about a possible obstruction that Wigan thought should have been forthcoming.
Well, the Saints players thought that as well, and that's why he dropped down, didn't take any advantage, and the referee plays on from that situation. So nothing was gained from it, so they just played on.
So a second successive goal line dropout coming up from Matty Smith.
Okay, Matt.
Ooh, and that's a bit of a scuffed one.
Might get away with it, though it bounces nicely for Farge.
Here comes Walmsley on the charge.
And that's better. The previous take-up from Walmsley, he crabbed away onto the left-hand side, and you lose your momentum and your strength.
Salford in a spot of bother against Hull Kingston Rovers, trailing 12-0 at the AJ Bell Stadium. Here is Roby with a scampering run, gets it to Jordan Turner. He pokes his nose through the defence. Bateman is the man who brings him down. Roby on the end of a quick play the ball. He finds Wilkin, who in turn finds Alex Walmsley. And all hands to the pump defensively for the Wigan Warriors.
Good low tackle by Flower, right round the ankles of the big fella.
Roby to Wilkin again, short ball, drive for the line, and it's a chance for Morgan Knowles. He's just held up short. Just short as well. Roby. Back it comes to Theo Farge, French international, to the in-goal area, but not the best kick this time. George Williams gobbles the ball up for Wigan.
Yeah, great position as well by the standoff Williams. He anticipated they're going to go for the kick. Obviously, the coach has said, Kieran Cunningham, he wants to keep the pressure on. He suffered in the early 5 minutes, he was all Wigan, but now they're getting that kick away. Can Wigan get through to the halfway line?
Move, John!
Well, Kieran Cunningham promised in his pre-match press conference earlier in the week that we would get some fireworks tonight. We're a long, long way from November the 5th, but I think he could be right. This is Matty Smith now with a big, deep kick right down the middle of the field. Good kick too. Look where Lomax picks this up in the shadow of his own posts.
That's a great weapon in a derby game. Just kick long, defend really hard. Turn Saints round, just keep asking questions like that. The forwards have got to get back to bring the ball forward. And it's very difficult when the game's played at a really high speed, and there's Luke Walsh, Travis Burns obviously not taking part in this game. Luke Walsh is a big loss, but with John Wilkin, like to James Roby, Theo Farge and Johnny Lomax, they've still got some danger, man.
I just wonder, Eddie, that, you know, we saw there Johnny Lomax, he was very, very slow to turn around from that kick from Matty Smith.
Here's another 40-20 possibility. No, it's not got the angle. And what's more, Josh Charnley maybe playing in his final Wigan Saints derby before he heads off to pastures new. He brings the ball back to the 30-metre line.
The point I was trying to make, Eddie, is that has Johnny Lomax gone into this game with a slight injury, because he was very laboured getting back to that ball.
Gelling, the try scorer, loses the ball. It's picked up by Bateman, but it's a knock-on by Anthony Gelling.
I think we need to give some credit to the opposite man. Is it Matthew Fleming who puts the tackling on him? John Turner there initially. Fleming joins in. The ball comes out.
New contract this week for Fleming. He's here at least until the end of next year. Gelling there, just losing the ball, and Saints will begin this set 10 metres inside Wigan territory.
Good speed, good boys, just keep it as we are.
But so far, Wigan, their defence has been pretty solid. They've diffused everything that Saints have thrown at them at the moment. Interesting to see that Kyle Amor has come into the fray.
Head in, Sam!
Interesting to note that this year, 10 times this season, Wigan have won games by 7 points or less. They know how to win the tight ones.
Move, Willie! Liam! We're here, guys. Wait, squared up!
Peyroux to his feet, plays the ball to Roby. Kyle Amor is on the field.
Move down, back here, Sam, come on!
Referee barking his instructions out to the players as Roby takes it forward, finds Jordan Turner. Turner with a little drop of the shoulders, thought he was going in between Powell and Bateman then, but they had other ideas. Roby, here is Wilkin. Now it's Richards. Theo Farge takes over, great ball to Greenwood. Great tackle, Sargentson. Try saver from Dan Sargentson. Theo Farge into centre field. That was Richards. Here now is Turner over the top. Adam Swift forced into touch. Josh Charnley, wonderful defence.
And Gelling mopping up just at the right moment. Beautiful long pass there, and it looked as though the man who scores for fun, Swift.
George!
Beautiful pass by Turner, but watch Gelling get there. That was enough, sufficient. Get him over the whitewash.
Well, we've got two teams who are putting as much effort into the defence as they are into the attack, and that means we're going to get a great contest here tonight. It's hard to score points, but you'll have to do something special. We've seen one extra effort by Anthony Gelling to get the first try. It's going to take something very, very good. You'll get great credit here to score points tonight.
Well, 14-0, Hulkingston Rovers in the lead against Salford. And we will be concentrating on the qualifiers tomorrow. We're in London for the visit of the treble winners of last year, London Broncos against the Rhinos. Tomorrow at 3 on Sky Sports 3. Big chance for London Broncos to showcase themselves. They hope in front of a bigger than normal crowd. Andrew Henderson, the coach, really looking forward to it.
Well, this is brought about by tremendous defence. Flower couldn't hang on to it. It's just the impact.
They've got great attitude. Wigan have got nowhere to run because, like I said earlier on, the defending so tight. So when Ben Flower's bringing the ball away so close to his line, he's running into 3 and 4 defenders all the time.
Solid defence from St Helens. The only side now, of course, never to have missed a playoff campaign. And that drop ball 20 metres from their own line will not have pleased the Wigan coach.
Now a couple of errors deep within their own danger zone. Doesn't help. Now then, will Saints put on a switch move? Sometimes they come on the blind side. No, they're gone open.
With Turner and the short ball from him. That's solid defence this time from Anthony Gelling. No way through for Fleming. Amor. It's rough and it's tough when the big men collide. As predicted 16.5 minutes ago, Roby is at dummy half. Now Turner gives it then to Farge. Farge's short ball from him. Greenwood again has gone close on a couple of occasions.
Good tackle there by Crosby. It had to be as well.
Roby fires the pass to Turner. Bit of space out wide, maybe. More good defence on Morgan Knowles' run from Matty Smith. Turner again. Amor looking to spin and offload the ball, but the ball was clamped to him by the three defenders. Defence standing firm so far. Theo Farge slides the kick to the in-goal area, and Gildart had to deal with the threat.
Peru was very close indeed.
Now the referee wants James Child just to check he's got the right decision here, Stuart, and a goal line dropout. It was close.
It was close. I think it was Gildart who was trying to shepherd the ball out. I think he just had to play it before he went there. So he'll be trying to check to see whether he's got his foot on the line beforehand. Don't think he did. It just comes off him last. He just drops it out. He was right in the first place, in a good position. Goal line dropout confirmed.
Yeah, it was very, very close, wasn't it?
And this is the third goal line dropout that St Helens have forced.
Decent pressure. There's quite happy to build pressure.
Possibility of a knock-on though here before he's actually kicked the ball.
It just looked like he'd got his hand on it, but the video referee's come through with the goal line dropout. He hasn't spotted it either.
No, I don't think he gets a hand to it at all.
I don't think Peru touched that, no. It didn't look like it.
Either way, Sean Wayne, the Wigan coach, will be happy about the fact that their defence is holding up.
Well, that was a bit of a high slap from Ben Flower on Kyle Amor, but Amor received what looked like a suspiciously forward pass from Theo Farge, who did a 360-degree waltz before giving him the ball. It was risky. St Helens in possession now with Roby.
That's the danger of that man when it's a quick play the ball, isn't it?
Yeah, good run by the hooker.
Here's Turner. They come right with Wilkin. Back he comes to Farge. Short ball to Greenwood. Oh, he's knocked that ball back. It's play on.
Yeah,
that's not a knock on. It went backwards, so it's tackle one, says Ben Thaler.
Good work there by Sargentson. Picked up the loose ball. Had to be as well. Wigan finding it very difficult to get anywhere near the halfway line. Golden opportunity. He did well there, Greenwood. He knew he'd lost it and then flicked it back.
Sorry, Steve. Well, the majority of times that Saints are attacking this right side, they're always hitting the short ball. Sooner or later, they're going to open it up and hit the wider man.
So close. Kieran Cunningham knows it. Two big men have come off the bench for the Warriors. Frank Paul Nuasala and Tolima Tautai. They're out there now. Matty Smith, meanwhile, drills the kick along the ground. Was that a knock-on? No. Ben Thaler had a good view of that. Came off the knees, he said.
The ball goes backwards anyway.
Yeah, relieved winger though, Jack Owens. It was a fair pace, wasn't it, that ball? And he decided just at the last minute to get the hands out of the way.
Theo Farge looking busy in the opening exchanges. Roby to Turner. Back it comes then to Wilkin. He drifts the ball in towards the corner of the ground. Tompkins retreats.
Great kick.
And picks it up. And here's the chase.
And it's wonderful. A bit high there from Wilkin. Oh, that nullifies that wonderful kick. They went early on the third.
First penalty of the game here.
But turn the Wigan team around. He hit the ball first, but he finished up in the mud. And that has to be a penalty. All that hard running. Great kick. And you just do a thing like that. But that's the tension through these players, especially in this particular derby game.
Yeah, well, remember, Wigan will go second in the table with a win, and Saints will go above Wigan in the table if they win. So the stakes are high tonight. Warrington, ooh, the legs came up then. The legs came up then. And Morgan Knowles was just keeping his heart in his mouth, I think, before the referee didn't blow the whistle. Turned him over in the end.
And Talima Tautai just put his hand up and apologised because they thought that ball went forward. Here's a knock on.
Yes, Tompkins has dropped the ball. He'll come back for the first mistake.
Yeah, Wilkins' eyes just opened there and said, I've got to run, and realised that he was losing possession, just flicked it on. Well, another error. We saw plenty last night, didn't we?
It's a great decision by the centre. The man second in, Matthew Fleming, orange boots on there, playing left centre for St Helens tonight, one in from the wing position. You've got to make a lot of decisions, not just in, you don't just have to defend and make tackles, but you've got to decide where to be at what time. And he came in, closed down that play, and it's becoming a familiar pattern. The number of times that St Helens is starting a set inside Wigan's half, that's a worrying trend.
Might have noticed Salford are on the board against Hull Kingston Rovers. 4 points for them, 14 though for Hull KR. Get your tweets into us at Sky Sports RL, hashtag AskSkyRL. Steve-O will be delighted to respond. This is Amor.
Always am.
Move it, T!
Well, when will this pressure
let's pile them on.
make sure that Saints take advantage
Come on.
and get on the scoreboard?
You have to credit this defence from Wigan, because they've had a lot of ball inside Wigan's half of the field, and yet they still have a big fat 0 against their name. For how much longer? Or maybe a bit longer yet, because that's a knock-on.
Yeah, just a little bit too fancy, and then the last final pass just going behind. Corner to Knowles, and no chance of getting that to it. Well, it's a pressure from both sides. They know how important the 2 points are.
Well, St Helens didn't score, but they did look threatening when early in the tackle count they put those kicks in behind Wigan's line. A couple of occasions they forced goal line dropouts. I think that might be a ploy that they bring back in here now, because Wigan's defence is strong here tonight, but the kick behind it, well, at times it's impossible to defend.
Well, the main advantage is, of course, that Wigan having to go through a lot of defended tackles. It takes its toll.
22 minutes of the match, you've had just one stoppage for a penalty. Powell gets it away to Williams. That's another penalty. Second one conceded by Saints. High shot. Greg Richards a bit high underneath the chin of George Williams.
Well, it's a squeeze, isn't it? Right into the neck area. Give them a great opportunity. It's been a while that the Warriors, they really have been under the cosh.
They have, but they start this set 22 metres out. Williams, Tautai takes it forward, breaks the first tackle.
Great carry that from Talima Tautai.
Powell, here is Williams. Williams trying to weave the magic.
Movement, line, lads!
And Willie Isa will get to his feet and play to Sam Powell. About 6 yards off the line, as you can see from the soccer markings. Tompkins, Gelling now. Gelling just pops the ball up, and Charnley takes on Turner and takes on also Fleming. Down he goes. Tackle number 3.
Keep your eye on Sam Tompkins. He wants to link. He's hanging back on the second phase.
Bateman goes down, tackle 4. Back where they started a couple of tackles ago. Powell, Tautai. Here's Matty Smith on the run. Finds Williams. Great ball to Sargentson. Oh, he's given a forward pass. He has given a forward pass. Sargentson can't believe it.
Tremendous build-up. And that fully deserved a try. The way that George Williams, and I think it's quite obvious that he's going forward, yeah.
Great call from Ben Thaler.
And in these tight games, they're so important. And you can see he has to reach out for it as well, Sargentson. He can't believe it when the referee finds out. You are kidding.
Well, he thought they'd scored, and then his hopes were dashed.
He deserved it. Fantastic play.
I think we should give credit maybe to the touch judge for that call as well. Ben Thaler reacted quickly to it.
Either way, it's attention for the officials as well. And it's good that they get it right in such an important match.
Hull Kingston Rovers still chipping away. 16-4 they lead.
Surrender!
Now, we've just seen previous over the last 5 or 6 minutes that St Helens allowed Wigan 2 penalties, lack of discipline, and now it's Wigan that has to make sure they control themselves, don't give anything away.
Another one of the big men on, Atelier.
Go.
And Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. Here is Turner, now Lomax. Goes wide to Fleming. Bateman behind, Smith in front.
Getting through a lot of defence in Bateman. Kick from Wilkin, right down the throat, not the best.
Well, he indicated to the man behind the play ball he didn't want the ball. He wanted that to go to Lomax for the kick. If you don't find the right man, then the end result isn't as good as it was. They gained 20-30 metres from where they kicked to where they made the tackle.
2.
Sargentson goes down.
We're here, James.
Another man, of course, who could easily be playing his last big derby with the opposition. Sargentson, he's on his way to the NRL.
And you saw there when Sargentson, okay, he was tackled, but he was
40-20 attempt, sorry, Steve-O, from Matty Smith, cut out by Lomax. Here you go.
Yeah, he was trying to convince a referee that he was being held down, and you could see that he was trapping. He was trapping the St Helens player's arm. That's where you need a good referee, and Ben Taylor said, get on with it.
Adam Swift has come in off the wing. 4 tries last week. Maybe a little starved possession, so doing a bit of work up the middle. Theophage, good ball. Dominic Peyrou. Owens couldn't take it in.
It was a clear run. Unbelievable, it just dropped it. There was nobody there.
I think you have to accept, Mike, though, the reason why they've won 7 games now is because they've taken a few more risks with possession and they've scored some more points as a result. At times it won't come off. It's the test now whether they can continue to defend those errors.
I understand that, but it wasn't a bad pass. I can understand if it was a poor pass, but he should have taken it.
Bateman is held on tackle number 2. Gelling waits behind him. Gelling sets off on a little run. A good run too, to the 20-metre line. Powell waits. Frank Paul was there, but he gave it to Smith instead. Williams, Liam Farrell. Great tackle, Theophage. Sargentson.
He's picked up an injury, Fage.
Tauta. He wanted to get the arms free, and it was clamped to his body, that ball, by Kyle Amor. Fage is struggling.
Oh, I'm surprised they haven't gone for the kick. Just for the turnover. Okay, they could say, well, we've got solid defence. And Saints have got to pull it out from 5 metres out. But I'm sure that man, Sean Wayne, would have said, hey, listen, we've got the ability out there. This is the incident where Owen, he knew it. He knew he should have got it.
I know they don't get a repeat set here, Mike, but it's still not a bad place to turn the ball over, is it? Close to the line, 10 metres in from touch. Saints try and get the ball to centre field as quick as they can.
Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook and Nuasala tangling. Remember what happened 4 weeks ago when they did that late in the game? 2 of them ended up in the sin bin. Bit of a tip and a tap and then a slap in the face for LMS from Big Frank Paul.
And I think that's the reason why Kieran Cunningham, remember, McCarthy Scarsbrook was down on the list to start the game, and then he switched it. He started with Morgan Knowles. And I think that's the reason, because he can just get a little bit upset than McCarthy Scarsbrook. Always allowed that to bounce.
Yeah, he took the gamble, Oliver Gildart. On the wing for Dom Manfredi. Some big boots to fill. Manfredi out for the season. Manfredi's made more tackle busts than any other Super League player this year. 119. Whistle goes. Here's another penalty. He was in great form when Wigan won at Saints on Good Friday, was Manfredi, and of course also he scored a few tries, 14, so Oliver Gildart, big shoes to fill tonight.
And it just shows you, in tight games like this, the lack of concentration. You could see not 1, but 5 St Helens players had gone in front of the official Ben Taylor, giving away another silly penalty. They're turning the screw now, Wigan. You had to try disallowed for the forward pass. But they're building in confidence.
Yes, and this is the 3rd tackle coming up, and look where they are. Not far away from the posts. Roby and Wilkin having to do some defence on Ryan Sutton. That's a good ball, and second. Anthony Gelling in for his second try at the derby. Delighted is Sean Wayne. Punches the air with delight, the Wigan coach. And Gelling gives a lovely short pass. And he was over the line with not a hand touched on him. So Gelling, back from 7 out against Castle last week. This is only his 4th appearance since May. 8 tries last year, 6 now this.
Well, I can go into raptures, Eddie, when it comes to a long pass. But the short one there by John Bateman is out of the top drawer. Look at that, straight into no man's land. Keep quiet, he says to the Saints fans.
That'll endear him to them.
Well, we can do without it, but what about the delayed pass by Bateman? There's a long way to go yet, Mr. Gelling. He's happy.
Anthony Gelling, the Cook Islander. He missed the grand final last year. Are Wigan on course to make it 4 Old Trafford appearances in a row? Matty Smith bang in front, and the lead is doubled. Wigan lead by 12 points to 0.
Well, John Bateman's one of Wigan's main threats. Sam Tompkins goes round the back, Matty Fleming's caught in 2 minds. Does he go for Gelling or does he take Sam Tompkins? He doesn't take neither player, and Gelling hits a very good tight line. Comes off the back of a brilliant pass from John Bateman. Whether it's an early ball, a ball at the line, such a good player, Anthony Gelling.
It's been a fascinating change in tactics from Wigan. Remember, they've been struggling in the getting over the advantage line with their forwards. They utilised it in the opening 10 minutes. Big strong work down the middle, and from there on in, the combination between George Williams and Matty Smith, they've kept this ball alive, got them in good position, and Gelling has come up with 2 beauties.
Phil Clark will be taking your questions on Twitter at halftime at Sky Sports RL, hashtag AskSkyRL. Get the benefit of the words of wisdom from Mr. Clark.
Come on!
Liam Farrell. Williams running across the centre line. Now straightens up.
Well, he's lost it. He's lost
loses
it.
the ball.
That'll be a knock on. Well, it looked as though they'd completed the tackle. He bounces away from it and then just loses it. Did that go backwards?
Well, he says there were arms in there by St Helens, Stuart.
I think he's tried to get his arms free. The ball comes loose onto Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, and that's the point where it's a knock on.
Give it going, John, mate, won't work.
Well, Saints will be desperate to make sure they've had this possession with less than 8 minutes remaining, and they've got to get that scoreboard ticking over. They've had plenty of opportunities, but Wigan's defence has been superb.
Yes, the bump in the road for St Helens at the moment is just a little more than a sleeping policeman, isn't it?
Well, when they won here 4 weeks ago, it was players like Kyle Amore who's got the ball now, and Alex Walmsley who made the dent. I think they almost had a pneumatic drill to drive through that bump in the road, and they made a difference. But at the moment, Wigan's defence in the middle is holding them out.
And there's a knock on now by John Wilkin. Well, you have to credit the Wigan defence down the middle. It's pretty solid. They've had so much pressure, St Helens, and they've not managed to pierce it.
Yeah, Tautai, good hit. Battle just helped it along its way. Couldn't keep control. Frustrating when you come up with errors like that. And not surprisingly, Wigan, no rush to set this scrap.
So the scrum forms midway inside the Wigan half of the field. Williams feeds it, and the referee's not happy with the formation.
Mind properly! Wait there, that's it. Good lad. T, get in that scrum! Out!
Comes out the back, courtesy of Jake Shorrocks.
One, move it here! Wait here, Louis, back here. Go.
There he is again. Bateman gets the ball away. Shorrocks was waiting. Here he goes.
Move!
Grounded 10 metres inside Saints half to his feet. Matty Smith.
Good support play as well. When you got the likes of Bateman, and that's a bit risky though.
Came off for him because Tautai was alert, and Tautai keeps the movement going also. George Williams, inside Roby, inside Vey, inside Amor.
3, move, John!
Got a great step, hasn't he, the youngster?
Jake Shorrocks. This is Matty Smith, looks for the angled run from Bateman. Bateman gives it to Nuasala and he drops it.
He just changed the eye line. He changed the eye line for that white thing, and he changed it for that blue thing that was coming towards him. Nice offload from Bateman. We've seen plenty of that during this game.
Well, they're starting to open it up, aren't they, Wigan? The forwards are going into contact. There's 2 and 3 Saints defenders around. They're managing to get the ball away. George Williams going across the line, looking to drag one of those big fellas out, create that space to turn the ball back inside.
George.
Another dangerous player, George Williams. Whether he gets a whack or not, he'll still keep taking on those big fellas in the middle.
Dominic Peru takes the ball forward, the Samoan and Cook Islander.
Well, we've been playing for 35 minutes, and from my memory, St Helens haven't been given a penalty yet. They need one to, I think, certainly give them a second chance here. They're desperate to score before half-time and struggle the scoreboard. At the moment here, from that range, I don't think they're capable.
Wait.
Well, there's no full back. They've opted a couple of times, Saints, for the little chip over the top.
4. Move,
Still no full
We're
back.
here, guys. Hold it.
Now he's in the defensive line, is Sam Tompkins.
He's going back now.
He drops back slightly now because he saw Theo Farge was shaping for this kick. And he claims it.
That's dominant.
Hits the deck, and then Peru comes in.
Stand!
With the challenge.
Wait, guys. Wait, go.
It always amazes me that sometimes some of these teams, they wait until the last.
Movement,
The fullback has already identified that the kick's on. Kick a little bit earlier. They often do it to you far into the corner, but sometimes just a little grubber over the top can be very effective.
Gelling gets the ball away to Charnley.
4. Move, Jordan!
Boy, we've seen some good defence, haven't we?
Yes, 2 sides. Good defence, but Wigan have managed to
move back here.
unlock the Saints' defence twice.
Go.
Smith, low. Jack Owens is after this. Catches it 10 metres from his own line. Will run it back as far as the kicker. Gets past him, but doesn't get past Shorrocks.
Saints fans claiming for a bit of a flop there, but I think it was A-OK. I must say Ben Taylor's handling this very well indeed. He's putting himself under a lot of pressure because some of these shots, they're pretty rough and tough.
Wigan are doing a very good job in the opening 3 plays of every set of 6. They're normally turning Saints on the back, trying to take the threat away from that man, James Roby. He picks up on the 4th because John Wilkin managed to land on his front.
He picked up a bit of a hit then from Nuasala as well.
Give him 10 in the middle.
Jordan Turner, well, that was a bit of a hit and hope, really. Oh, and the hope has come up.
Put the knockers on him, maybe.
Well, it was a hit and hope, but Gildart just couldn't take it. It was high, it was spiralling.
Hit and hope and no glory. No one near him.
Well, it's still going everywhere, isn't it? Still had to move just a little shuffle to the left. Gildart thought he had that covered.
Isn't it amazing that you know it's a poor kick? You haven't given your own side the opportunity to chase and put him under pressure, and with no pressure whatsoever, he drops it.
And Wigan's back 3 have dealt with most things. Sam Tompkins, Josh Charnley, Oliver Gildart. They've been dropping back. Saints haven't been able to find the grass as much as possible.
Remember a week ago the Saints got a crucial try just before half-time against the Catalan Dragons that put them ahead. This would be a crucial try if they could score it here in this next set.
Yeah,
they put them ahead, but would give them hope.
Yeah, they need it as well. We haven't seen much of Jordan Turner.
What's the game stop for?
That signifies the fact that Wigan's defence has been solid.
Whoa, guys, come on.
I think there's a loose shoelace, Phil.
Bind the scrum. Time's not back on. Bind the scrum properly, guys. Wait,
Stop the clock anyway.
I'll tell you. Bind the scrum properly. Liam, get your arm round him.
Maybe they don't like the fact that they're in the back. They're leaning.
Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook. Roby's behind him. Gives it to Walmsley. Well, he's been good when he's been on tonight, Alex Walmsley.
Yeah, this is where Turner has to produce the magic.
Or Wilkin, maybe. Now Fage. Payne drops it.
Deary me today.
Can't believe it. The St Helens coach. That's not in the game plan.
Certainly not. There was no pressure applied. There's nothing near a tourniquet anywhere near it to be turned. Completely.
Well, Gildart dropped it under no pressure, and Payro's done the same.
Right, let's back
Frustration.
guys this time.
Frustration.
That's why I opted for a microphone, Eddie.
Good arm, that one. Head in the tail.
Turning into a coach.
Out.
All
Stress.
those years ago.
Yep.
50 more days till the grand final and the final curtain.
Yep, and we should stop laughing. And Farrell's dropped it.
Here's Greenwood. That's a 0 tackle coming up here. They'll have 6 more from here, St Helens. Farrell with the mistake. Roby. Wilkin. Turner, short ball.
Fleming's lost it. Can't believe it. Fleming's lost control. Farrell did before that.
Louis, it off.
Well, the ground's very firm. It's been raining here even before an hour before the game. There was water in the pitch, so there is a lot of water or dew on the surface, but it is firm. That's why maybe there's quite a few mistakes. The ball's slipping.
Well, it's been pouring down with rain most of the day. Why would you want to water it?
Yeah, because they were saying that they need to water the pitches. There's a mistake here. They need to water the pitch for the surface. Here we go again, Eddie.
Time's up.
Well, there's a bit of argy-bargy going on because the mistake count is mounting and there's a bit of frustration all round. Well, it was pulled out of his grasp by Turner. I don't think the referee's given that decision, though. I think he's given a scrum to St Helens, hasn't he, Stuart?
Yeah, they've both. Well, you got the call from the touchage on the far side saying the ball was lost, so they've gone with the scrum. It's not one of those tackles where the arm's trapped in, isn't it? And as the arm comes out, the ball comes out with it.
But normally, if the tackle's complete and then all of a sudden the ball jumps out and goes forward, surely there's got to be a hand in that.
Well, it's a guess, really. Anyway, St Helens won't be complaining if they score. And Payru hangs on this time. They've got 20 seconds in which to score in this first half. They have a penalty now.
It's got to be a tap, maybe one drive and then put the kick into the corner, or maybe the grubber.
Greenwood.
This will be the settler.
Theo Fage. Well,
Wason.
I don't think anyone read the Theo Fage script then. Maybe it was in French. Maybe it wasn't in English. They're missing Luke Walsh. There's no question about that. They're missing the General, who's suspended for the first of 2 matches tonight. But Wigan won't be particularly worried about that. They lead at half-time by 12 points to 0. Gelling in the 3rd minute, Gelling in the 30th minute. Both tries improved by Matty Smith. 12-0 to Wigan. To follow up to the break, Brian and John will be with you at the touchscreen.
20 minutes was top quality in regards to a lot of attack, a lot of good defence, solid work on both sides. And then just in the second half of that first half, I'm afraid things deteriorated. And yes, you're right, both Kieran Cunningham and Sean Wayne will not be happy with the way that they've handled it. They keep telling me that the ground is so solid that even though we had plenty of rain today, that before the game there's actually water in the pitch. Maybe that's got something to do with it, but you'd think it may have dried up by now. Let's hope so.
Indeed so, and whatever conditions underfoot, it is the same for both sides. Wormsley will get to his feet, play the ball here for the first time in the second half. Here's Atelier Bay, once upon a time, of course, with the Broncos, and Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook out there. Dan Sargentson as well with the London Broncos, who we'll see tomorrow in those qualifiers. You have to ask, when you see all the talent that London have got knocking around in Super League at the moment, or ex-London talent, what might have been down there had they been able to hang on to their stars. Well, however, that's a debate for another day.
Yeah, but that's been the problem, hasn't it, in regards to, you can't blame a player. They want to go get more money, go to a better club. They want to try to to win trophies, but either way, Saints have to really up the tempo. Not the best kick there from Roby.
We're going to say the kicking game has to be better than that.
Yeah, they're not turning Wigan around. The amount of times that Wigan are catching the ball on the Fulham, and Saints in this game quite happy to take Wigan on up the middle of the park. There's only 4 times they've gone to the edge, and that was to the left edge in the first half. They need to ask more questions, maybe move some of the bigger forwards around for Wigan, and they haven't done that in this game.
Move, guys, we'll be back here. Ready, lads, wait.
Shorrocks is the young man at dummy half. Jake Shorrocks, a 20-year-old, either a standoff or a scrum half.
Back here.
And there he is. He's played 6 of the last 9 matches. 5 goals against Wakefield here 2 weeks ago.
Now,
Shorrocks again from dummy half. Here is Smith. He'll hoist this high. That's not a bad kick either, because they've all got to come for it. St Helens. Jack Owens manages to hang on, but only just.
Yeah, I knew that Liam Farrell was hunting him.
We're here, Frank.
Got to it in the end.
Theo Farge, dummy half, gives it to Lomax. Right, let's find out what was said at half-time. And keeping an ear to the dressing room door was Angela Powell.
Quite similar for both of them, Eddie, to be honest. Completion is the buzzword, especially from Sean Wayne's camp. Happy with the goal line defence so far, but they're giving St Helens too many options, too many opportunities and too many chances. They've really got to cut out that possession that they're giving away to St Helens at the moment. St Helens, they're worried about their possession. Completion is 63%, and they can't win a game, says Kieran Cunningham, with just 63% of the ball. Keep hold of it and stop trying to play laterally. Play more direct, cut out the errors, and make the most of all the possession that they've got.
Well, the coach has got it absolutely right. Kieran Cunningham disappointed. We mentioned quite a few times in that first stanza that the St Helens forwards were, instead of running straight, getting across the advantage line, they were swerving away on an arc. That won't do him any good.
That's the difference, though. The ball stripped out to your penalty. If you look at those 2 runs by Wigan, though, how many other teams in the Super League have outside backs who can regularly gain 10 metres with a simple carry? Gelling does it on the second one, but the ball stripped, and all of a sudden now, with 2 outside backs working extra hard, they found themselves back into an attacking position in their opponent's half.
It always amazes me, Phil, in regards to there. You could see Jordan Turner. His intention was to get that ball out right in front of the official and give away 35 metres downfield. No brains at times.
4-1 the penalty count in Wigan's favour, by the way. What can they do on the back of this?
2. Move, James! Stand square, boys. We're here too. Go.
Here now is Williams. Gets the ball away to Farrell, who spins and almost gets through the line. Farge missed him, the rest didn't. This is Williams again. Roby in his face. Walmsley there too. But they're camped on this St Helens line. Shorrocks picked up, dropped to the ground by Lomax. Tompkins scheming, looking left and right, comes into centre field with Smith. Kick towards the goal line, tidied up by Jordan Turner, but look where St Helens begin this set from.
Yeah, and it's all about applying that tourniquet, twisting it as tight as you can. And you can see that Wigan have got to be careful, don't get ahead of the official Ben Thaler. The Wigan fans, they've got their voice now at 12-0. They should have.
This is neat stuff, though, from St Helens. They made good ground, and the Televe is still not put down, and that ball was nearly stolen by Bateman. He held onto it, though, did Vey, somehow. Turner hammers it down the middle of the field. That's a better kick. What's the chase line?
That's a very good set of 6 from Saints. They were trapped on the line, just a metre from the try line, yet they managed to get to the kick it over into Wigan's left-hand edge. Now all of a sudden they need to make sure that they come up with a decent set of 6 in defence here.
Sargentson will get to his feet and play it here to Williams. Liam Farrell.
Yeah, it's often like a game of chess, as rugby league at times. Make sure that you get into the opposition half, and then of course when the kick is utilised, it's a lot better. Oh, there's a good break. Oh, and he's knocked him.
Yes, he has. The tackle was coming in from Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. He tried, I think, to get rid of it. Gildart to a supporting runner on his inside.
But once again, that tackle comes around the Theo Farge area. He's the man who obviously just stopped Dan Sargentson Hill before the ball comes free there. You know, in the first half, there wasn't a single St Helens back who made more tackles than Theo Farge. Wigan really did target him, which may be one of the reasons why we've not seen his spark in attack. He's been put under tremendous pressure with Liam Farrell repeatedly running at him.
Well, it was good work there by the prop forward Alex Walmsley. He just got a hand to the ball-carrying arm. Made sure that it was a knock-on.
There's Theo Farge, 22 years of age next week, is the 8-time French international. He missed the last 7, his last appearance in the defeat in Perpignan in the middle of June.
Surrender!
For the Saints. And in the side tonight because Luke Walsh is suspended. Here comes Alex Walmsley again. He's been Saints' best tonight.
Yeah, great run. And a good quick play the ball as well, but you can see that the Wigan defence, you know, they're going to have to force St Helens into one option only, and that is a little kick over the top or utilise a high bomb.
Here is Wilkin, puts it away to Vey. He takes it into the 20-metre zone, but he just managed to smuggle the ball away.
And Wilkin is knocked on.
Well, to be fair to him, I don't think anyone believed that ball was coming out, and then he could see that Tautai was hunting him.
Well, good players, Eddie.
Or Liam Farrell, rather, was hunting him.
Yeah, good players read the game, and you could see that the arm was coming through. The trouble is, no one was going to be in support.
There, guys.
And it indicates to me that St Helens are getting a little bit lost. They're going far too much one-out football.
Wait there, Matty. Matty, wait! Matty! Okay.
So 20 metres from their own line, Wigan, head and feed. Sargentson trying to jink his way past a couple, succeeds, gets as far as Wilkin first off, and then Walmsley.
Go.
Plays the ball to Gelling.
And again, good refereeing there. You know, an inexperienced referee might perhaps give away a penalty there. You know, the players are pretty crafty. He just keeps telling them, get on with the game. Good stuff tonight from him.
Good lad. Go this side, play on.
Shorrocks, Nuasala releases the arms, gets Tompkins away. Almost to the halfway line. Tackle number 4. Smith. Gelling thought about slipping the pass to Bateman, instead gives it to Matty Smith. Smith goes inside Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. Good defence in the end required by Roby. Tompkins shuttles it wide to the left-hand side to Williams. Williams with a good run. Oh, he got the ball away, and Liam Farrell has coughed it up. Here goes Theo Farge. 0 tackle here. The referee will play on now because they've got more advantage from where they play the ball. Here goes Owens.
Good run as well. Good play. The ball is needed. Silly pass, really, from George Williams.
Penalty to St Helens. To the delight of the St Helens supporters.
Well, I know it's early in the second half, but to be fair, Sean Wayne won't like the ability, the way that George Williams was trying to offload. They are leading 12-0. It's Saints have got to play a catch-up football. That means they've got to risk more. We can just have to take it steady.
Well, they're coming up to 50 minutes, and this game needs a spark. The only difference with both sides is Anthony Gelling's 2 tries.
Peyroux, no, it isn't. It's Ramatasi takes it forward down that right-hand side. There is Farge. And Greenwood plays the ball to Roby. Now it's Wilkin. Back from Wilkin to Farge again. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. He didn't use Turner as a shepherd. Making progress here. 3 tackles gone. Not far away from the line. Nuasala all over him. Oh, it's opened up for Roby! So close, and very good defence on their own line.
Was it ever? Very rare little foray by Roby. The dummy half position. Oh, and it's all getting excited.
Louis and Frank Paul renewing acquaintances. So this is tackle 4, says Ben Thaler to the Saints players. McCarthy Scarsbrook finds Turner. This is Vey. The trapdoor snapped shut again by Wigan. Roby. Roby then to Farge. They go wide forward. This is gone. This is gone. Nobody in the ground has heard it.
Well, how many opportunities have the visitors had tonight? And they've just failed in the basic department. It's a poor pass.
Right there, boys.
Two ways about it. Poor pass. Peru well in front.
I've been told that Alex Ferguson once said, attack wins games, defence wins championships. And if that's true, then it's perhaps evidence of the reason why Wigan still find themselves as a top 4 side here. The attack this year hasn't been brilliant, but the defence is by far the best in this competition, and their opponents can't just get close to them, can they? On the night when they put their mind to it, it looks impossible to score against them. And the test for St Helens is to maintain your patience. When you've tried your hardest and thrown everything you can for 50 minutes, with lots of good opportunities near Wigan's line, and not being able to make a break or score a try, it's inevitable. It's human nature for things to change, and they have to try and stick to what they've done all week in preparation for this game, in what they believe will help them score some points.
Shorts again, and a little fumble by Isa. Last tackle, good defensive set by St Helens this, restricting Wigan to their own half. Kick from Williams important, all along the ground. And Jack Owens, a little tentative, but he picked it up, and what a great chase.
Certainly was, and Owens thought about maybe using the boot, but it was so close to the whitewash, so I better just let it bounce again. It has been ruthless, hasn't it? The Warriors' defence.
Lomax.
It's virtually what Saints did to Wigan the last time that they played. In a complete reversal.
Well, the Saints are aiming to win at Wigan twice in a season for the first time in 16 years. 2000 they achieved it, 30 points to 28 here. 2 months later in the playoffs they won, and they went on to beat Wigan in the grand final. What will they do for a repeat 16 years down the track? Gordon Turner with the kick, and Charlie just waited for it. Then gets the offload away to Gelling. And he's on a hat-trick, of course, is Anthony Gelling.
Oh,
he's lost that ball.
A knock on. Well, some of the errors could have been avoided, but sometimes it's the pressure that creates them. And you'll see that it was Wilkin that came over the top, and the impact. Gelling couldn't keep control of it at all. And it's getting to a point now where, you know, Saints have to get that scoreboard ticking over. They've got to make sure they need something to build their confidence. Maybe a little bit of a solo effort from the two halfbacks. We've seen that from Turner or Farge. They've tried. Really haven't had the skill or the speed to do that.
Well, understandably, they keep going to Joe Greenwood. He's scored 11 tries so far in Super League this year. He's the second highest try scorer in the St Helens side. But they've tried him, and Wigan have certainly had him covered.
Yes, it seems to be the forwards tonight that carry the greater threat for the Saints. And that's the reason why. And Tompkins on the free play. Quick thinking by Tompkins too. Hauled down though by Roby.
Roby just let go in time. They're all over the shop as Saints defend. Keep it out wide. Keep it moving.
Yes, if they move this to the right-hand side, Charnley wants to kick through the gap. It didn't come.
That needed to be earlier, and Sargentson went to left. He had the space on the right.
Wigan looking to close this game out. Gelling. Oh, he got the ball away. The call was from Bateman. It's a free play for Saints now. Here goes Adam Swift. First time he's had a chance tonight. So that's great play from Charnley. And then Sargentson bundles him into touch. They'll take it back for the free play.
Yeah, and they knew it, so it was worthwhile keeping the ball alive, but you've got to give a lot of credit to Charnley there. And another error notches up. The first one there by Farge. He's not a happy bunny, Kieran Cunningham. But why they tried that? It was worth it, because they knew they had the opportunity. But Charnley was not going to give up, was he?
It was quick. Really quick.
Well, maybe needed to kick that then, Adam Swift. Certainly was. He's not on his sleeve, doesn't he, Sean Wayne? Makes every play. And myself.
Looks like he's been enjoying the good weather as well in the northwest of England. We've enjoyed until today this week. Sporting a nice tan. I'm sure that's not on the Costa del Sol, nor the Costa Wigan.
Yeah, he might have been walking around with a hat in. It's really been warm, hasn't it? Oh, he's away!
Well, he nearly was. Excellent tackle by Tompkins.
Well, Fleming's had a big game, hasn't he?
Roby gets the ball away to Amor, who gets St Helens over halfway. Taze. No way through for him. Wigan's defence is muscled up now. Wilkin. Turner. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. Solid run. 4 tackles gone though, only 2 remaining this set.
They need something different. Chip over the top, maybe.
Lomax.
Great tackle.
George Williams. Good tackle on Johnny Lomax. Greenwood to Theo Farge. Easy for Matty Smith.
Yeah, you can see that Wigan have the numbers, including the fullback Sam Tompkins. So one thing about Matty Smith you'll get is that he knows how to position himself when he comes for the kick behind the line of defence.
Solid run from Charnley. Wilkin holding on to his shirt and Charnley holding on to Wilkins. Tompkins. Sargentson.
Stand, go.
Oops, through the legs of Powell, but went backwards, says the referee, so Sam Tompkins can play on. Flicks the pass then to Matty Smith. He then gives it to Bateman.
5 James, move!
Had a big game, hasn't he, John Bateman? Really has caused all sort of troubles for St Helens side.
Jack Owens to run this ball back for St Helens. Tries to get round Powell, can't get away from him or Don Crosby.
And again, I keep saying it, Farge and Turner, they've got to ask this defence a little bit more questions. He's got the speed, but that's great defence, and it's another knock on. Chalk that on the scoreboard.
Well, our great friend Sean McRae, who I read on the internet, has decided that he's leaving his club job in Australia at the end of this season. The CEO of it's the Seagulls at Tweed Heads, isn't it? And he's leaving that role at the end of the season. He would call this match tonight a knock-on-a-thon.
Certainly would, and he wouldn't be wrong, would he?
Give the focus,
I know he watches down under in Australia, Sean, so I'll give you a ring, Sean.
It has been sloppy, was it? 22 errors in this game.
Still got a job for you in the Gold Coast. Fancy it when you pack up in 50 days' time?
It's not good up there with the man that's ball.
Move, James! Wait here, lads, come on, good lad.
Well, at 12-0, the sets are still in this. If it goes more than that, there's no way I don't think they can possibly come back. So they're hanging on here. They've not been able to look that good, but while ever they're only 12 behind, they have a chance. They've got to hold out now. To as much effort into the defence as they are going to do with their attack.
Bateman would pick himself up off the floor and play the ball here to Sam Powell.
Now all Wigan have to do now is just cart it up, put him in a position, and then just put either the high kick onto the corner, just keep turning centre around, or even better, just put the one.
And Matty Smith has read your mind. And Matty Smith plonks the ball over the top of the crossbar. And that's an important 1 point, because that means that St Helens now have to score 3 times.
And as he did that, a couple of the Saints heads just looked to the ground. Not had much luck in 58 minutes. They've got 22 minutes to pull 13 points back or more. And that 1 point makes it even more difficult for them now.
8 drop goals for the season for Matty Smith. Well, the rumours would say they're no good. They're a waste of time.
A lot of people say that. Not me.
Not Matty Smith, 8 of them.
They've been proved valuable throughout the years.
21 minutes of the match remaining. London Leeds tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Return to the capital for Brian McDermott, the Leeds Rhinos coach, against Andrew Henderson, the London Broncos. 3 o'clock on Sky Sports 3. We're entering the last quarter of this Super 8s match between Wigan and Saints.
Isn't it amazing? Rumours abound, don't they, about the fact that the man who's just got the 1 point drop goal is coming away from Wigan, going to St Helens. We'll have to wait and see whether all the rumours come true. Sometimes they do.
Movement! I need you quick in this foot, come on.
Greenwood.
Trapping him in!
He trapped the leg in, is the view of Ben Taylor. Dom Crosby had hold of Greenwood's leg, couldn't get away from him.
The one thing that Sean Wayne will be very pleased about is the way that well, he won't be happy about that.
The knock-on-a-thon continues. Here is Turner. It's a free play, remember. Chase from Matty Fleming. And Charnley just flicks the ball away. You bring it back for the scrum down, head and feet to Saints.
Good hit, wasn't it? Right underneath the ball carrying arm. Good work from Lamatasi.
Yes, and Kyle Amor did enough as well to get him off balance a bit. A possibility for the biggest hits section on the website this week with Barry and Terry, perhaps?
What I was trying to say, Eddie, is that Sean Wayne will be happy the way that Wigan, nearly throughout all this game, they've controlled it. All right, there's been a few errors from either side. But the way that Matty Smith has come to the fore with that 1 point so important.
Wait, Jordan, wait! Jordan!
When it comes to the end of the season, it's really crucial that you have a man that can read the game in tight situations. Still not out of it, though, Saints. I know they've got to score 3 times, but can they get over?
Wait, lads, wait,
what do we say?
Well, you've told me, Eddie, for 20 years, never write off the Saints. They need one of those magic cards here now to find 6 points.
Yeah, 2 of the jokers are that were in the pack, Cunningham and Long in the stands now, of course, on the sideline. But here's a penalty that will help them. Inside the 20.
Okay, go on.
Mohamed Tarzai drives it in on the first tackle, but it's all it is. It's a drive in, and you have 3 men waiting.
You know, a little bit more running as we see there from Roby.
This has got promise. Turner.
Good tackle as well. Had to be there. Good
quick play the ball. Roby to the in-goal area. Charnley to the rescue. Greenwood was hunting.
Beautiful kick. And that's what was needed. Something different. Boy, that nearly came off.
It's one of the few quick play the balls that Saints have had in this game. They've not had the wins around the play of the ball, as you say, Eddie. They've took them on at the middle. They've not had much joy. They've not gone to the edge and not created many chances at all.
They've forced 4 goal line dropouts tonight, though, have the Saints. Amor stuttered his way towards that challenge.
Okay, Johnny, come on. Go, lad, wait there. Go.
Roby comes left. Walmsley. He didn't stutter into that one.
No, he's worked hard.
Okay.
With no reward, I'm afraid.
Amor again. Offloads untidily, but Turner picks it up.
We've seen more and more of Jordan Turner playing as though he is a centre when he should be playing a lot more than... he's in the top to boot. Lucky to get away with that. That looked as though it might have been a knock-on. But Turner needs to get there in that central position. Start controlling it a bit more.
Farge, good ball. Can he get this away? No. Lomax puts the ball on the ground. First knock-on, says the referee, by St Helens. Head and feed Wigan.
And again, wonderful defence. He's got through a lot, George Williams, hasn't he, tonight? Great tackle there on the big fella, Greenwood. Greenwood knew he couldn't get anywhere near the line and went for the option to try to offload. Again, the error. 13
points, 17 and a half minutes remaining. Luke Walsh absent, suspended.
I think he, though, and St Helens would believe out on the field this isn't a 13-point gap, is it? He's certainly worth probably 6 to 8 points with him, with the creativity, the organisation, the direction he provided in attack. As long as his team continues to defend with this tenacity, they've got a chance in 2016.
That's a tremendous couple of tackles there. Charnley struggling to get to his feet, does so. Saints quickly off the line. Tompkins.
Yeah, I agree, Eddie, and with you, Philly, in regards to that. You know, just because they look as though they're going to lose this game, I know you say, Teddy, you don't write them off, but seriously, they have got the ability, and they know that they've been out-muscled, and the defence has been too strong for them. But Kieran Cunningham is a wise old man, is a wise coach, and that's a knock-on.
It is, and that's better than the kick on the last tackle that was coming, perhaps. Sargentson with the mistake.
Yeah, there's a hand in there.
No, I'm not so sure, Eddie. It's a bit unfair. Never really cheated, but Morgan knows will he gets away with it. But in fair play to the Ups, he's trying to wrap the ball, he's trying to wrap the tackle up. And maybe Dan Sargentson needs to keep hold of that ball.
Stay on, lads.
Well, it's the second movement back on the ball, isn't it? After the tackle's complete, that's what's taking the ball out. So you can either have the ball steal or the second movement. Should have been a penalty.
Salford are in all sorts of trouble in those qualifiers. 25-12, they trail Hulkingston Rovers. I think I'm right in saying that they play Leeds next week, and in 2 weeks' time, rather. Of course, there's a bit of a game taking place at Wembley, and it's Leeds for Salford next.
Some of this defence from Wigan has been quite brutal. Theo Farge certainly felt that.
Wilkin, Wormsley, spun by Bateman. He still managed to get the ball away though. Farge, Greenwood.
Look at the defence. Not one Wigan player has come out of that line. You talk about man-on-man marking when it gets into your red zone.
Come on, Dan.
This is sensational stuff.
Wilkin, back it comes to Turner. The runner is Lomax.
Fifth tackle. Move back here.
Is this a smaller field than any other field that Saints play on? Because Wigan are compressing it to such an extent they're struggling. Look at this. Gilling is away. There's a hat-trick on the way here. Anthony Gilling. He is sailing in. 3 tries for Anthony Gilling. Delight for Sean Wayne. Delight for Wigan. And they will be second in the table tonight. I can't see a way back for St Helens now.
You're right, Teddy. And Kieran Cunningham is fully aware. You can't blame Gelling to put himself in that position. If it had been a tight game, a tight score, he wouldn't have tried to do that. He would have tried to get a man-on-man defence. But when you know you're in front at 13-0, he puts himself in such a wonderful position. It was a gift, really. Long way for Christmas, but this was all well and wrapped up with a nice little bow on the end. And he knows it. It's number 1, 2, 3. What a TRY.
Yes, a hat-trick of hat-tricks in his career for Anthony Gilling.
Well, he looks like a runner in Rio, doesn't he? He's about to cross the finishing line here. He knows this is almost a gold medal now. That 17 points will be too many now for the Saints to come back from it. Could even go to 19. Wigan here, they've got one back over their arch rivals.
Yes, Gilling, his comeback is timely, there's no doubt about that. Came back last week in the defeat against Castleford. He's only made 4 appearances since May. 8 tries last year, 7 now in 2016. And Matty Smith to try and add a couple of more points to that total. 19-0 beckoning with just a little less than 14 minutes to go.
It's all about positioning, and Mr. Gelling certainly did that. He's a bit of an extrovert, isn't he? Mr. Gelling. He really has games where he's superb, games where he's not up to scratch, but tonight he's been sensational.
So Matty Smith to try and make it 19 points to 0. And the last time Saints nilled, or were nilled by, rather, by Wigan, he's missed it, it's 17. The last time Saints were nilled by Wigan, 27-0 in the 1989 Wembley final.
Well, he's a big, powerful player, isn't he, Anthony Gelling? There's his second try. He's really enjoyed this game. And then the third try that he scores, it was passive attack really from Saints, and just to pick that ball up was far too easy when Saints were pressuring, but Saints had to try something.
Well, it looks like a young Kevin Arrow, didn't he? He played in that game when Wigan won 27 points to 0. He's been outstanding today. He's been great value for them. Not on his best last week at Casford, but boy, it makes a difference when he has his hands on the ball.
And it's a long time since Saints have been nilled in this town. Wasn't here, it was at the old Central Park, 1955. 8-0 to Wigan, Christmas. Christmas 1955. Christmas has come early in 2016 for Wigan here. Terry O'Connor will be out and about on Facebook Live at the end of the match. I think you might struggle to talk to any St Helens players, Terry, but I suppose the Wigan lads will speak.
Well, that was good defence. They needed to as well. They a little bit shocked, don't they, St Helens? They've been battered and bruised, but they've been outplayed tonight.
They've been physical, haven't they? But they just haven't had.
They've been physical, but they've not been adventurous.
No, they haven't.
They've just
and as I said before, it's like we're going to squeeze them into the middle of the park.
And this pitch is a big pitch.
Yeah.
It's 68 metres wide, it's 100 metres long. And the way that Wigan have defended, they've defended really tight because they know at the same time throwing any decent shape at them. They don't need to stand wide.
Precise figures from Terry O'Connor. You must have mown it a couple of times in your career, haven't you?
No, I always used to come last when we were having some sprints on here, Eddie.
Move, Willie!
You went across the 68 metres, they all went up and down the 100. Okay. Amor.
Play on! Movement!
You lost me as soon as you started talking about metres.
Well, get away!
Can Saints give their travelling supporters something? That was a knock-on.
It was. It's not been called. Well, if I was Mr. Sargent, not go to ground and take the tackle, because they won't be able to then refer this back to the video referee if something comes at the end of this.
I think it came off Saints player, Eddie.
Did it?
Went to ground off a Saints player, so I think it's okay.
But it is now, because they can't go back to it.
Surrender two. Stand with
Yes, it does. I thought for a moment it was Sargentson. You're right, Stuart. That's why you're a referee. And you've not even been to the optician yet.
Move, James!
It's contact, is it? Here now is Matty Smith. Fires the pass to Tompkins off the outside of the boot. Cleaned up. But grounded in goal by Jack Owens.
Quick thinking there with the fullback, Sam Tompkins.
They've asked all the questions tonight, Wigan.
Yeah, and as I say, they've been in full control, really. The defence set the pattern. This is the incident. Comes off Greenwood's left shoulder. Sargent says, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, they've been outplayed, Saints. Pressure, kicking game has been far too strong for them as well.
Their winning run is grinding to a halt here.
And that's the word, Eddie, that, over the past few seasons, that's what the Wigan side does. It grinds itself away. They just keep at the opposition until there's a weakness, and they take full advantage.
Tompkins can't get away from Jordan Turner, held on to him, and he was finished off by Wilkin and Co. Bateman.
He's had a big game as well as Bateman. Not only in defence, but also attack. He puts himself about, doesn't he? I get the feeling that...
no, they got a penalty.
I don't think they'll go for the two. I think they'll go for a quick tap. It looks like Sam Powell is going to do that.
No, listen, we had a couple on the bounce. I rolled that one out, rolled another. You've got to get out
got the ball. Wilkins saying, what's that for?
They're going to go for goal. They're going to go for the two.
This here set's gone really
crackly. 17-0, just to wind the clock down a bit more.
James,
they've got a fortnight off, of course, these two sides, before the next encounter in the Super 8s. I think it's Widnes who are here in the DW Stadium a week next Thursday.
That was crafty work, wasn't it, by John Bateman?
It is a week on Thursday, the 1st of September, and it's Widnes, and it's on Sky Sports 1, and then we see the Saints against the Cup finalists, Hull. Sky Sports 1 again Friday the 2nd, 7:30. Just wondering whether this result will give Catalan Dragons a little bit of hope. They're in a dreadful state injury-wise. They lost last night badly, but still, 4 points off. Could come with a late surge.
They'll give them hope, Eddie, but they need to perform better than they did last night.
You've often said never write off the Dragons, Eddie.
Never write off
Not when it's week 3 of the Super 8s.
Never write off anybody. Well, he's not laughing. Kieran Cunningham and Sean Long, they're not impressed.
No, it hasn't been their night, and they realise it. The one thing that they'll get their heads together and say, OK, let's have a look at the areas where we were outplayed, and they'll probably be a little bit dismayed at the way that Wigan have controlled it for most of this game. I'd have to say 80% at least. But Saints really had about 3 or 4 clear-cut chances. And other than that, just been blocked out.
To move, James, wait on the 10, mate. Wait, James. Wait.
Well, we had high hopes that this match would really ignite the flames in the Super 8s. Wigan have certainly fanned those flames. St Helens, as I say, their winning run comes to an end.
I think both sides are looking forward to the hooter. A tough encounter. I mean, it isn't as though Saints' defence has been poor.
No, as I say, they've been vigorous, haven't they? But Wigan have asked the questions. That ball went backwards off Williams, so there's a scramble for it on the deck.
He might give a knock on here.
No, he's given it to Wigan because
back here, lads.
Well, Williams
somehow got to it first.
Head backwards.
Well done by the hooker.
Smith to Sargentson rides the challenge. We can't get the ball away. Jack Owens now. Well, Wigan come back so quickly.
They do. And that's been a good feature tonight.
Efficient, haven't they? It's been an efficient performance.
Well, they went through a period, remember, very early in the first half where Wigan were doing all the defending. We wondered whether they may run out of fuel late in the game. But I must say that their fitness levels are on show. And that's play on.
Well, Adam Smith's trying his best. He's put himself in the middle of the field there to take that late offload. They're looking for a spark here. They want to get over the line. A very proud team here. They don't want to go home without troubling the scoreboard at all. Can't quite see where it's going to come from tonight. John Wilkin, he's demanding the ball.
And he gets it. And he finds Turner. And has it back for Wigan.
Again. He just shakes his head in total disbelief.
Well, nothing's coming up for them, Steve.
No.
When they're getting in these little battles and then they look to shift it, get a one-on-one against Matty Smith, they just drop the ball. That seems to be the case.
14 handling errors for St Helens. It seems to have been 28, actually. That only seems half the story.
It's 15 for Wigan, Eddie, so I mean, it's not as though it's just been, that's the story really. Why is it? Wigan's defence has just been far superior to that of St Helens, and Anthony Gelling's in brilliant form.
Well, he is. If it is 15 to Wigan, and I can't believe it's 14 to St Helens. I just can't. But the stats don't tell any lies.
No, Eddie, but sometimes it's where you make the mistakes, what tackle you make the mistakes as well. The penalties that Wigan have received in their favour.
There's offside there, I think.
It's a penalty to Wigan. Can this night get much worse for St Helens?
It could. It's ricocheted off the back of Theo Farge's leg.
But nothing accidental about it because Amor dropped on the ball.
Yeah. If it stood still, perhaps. But then it would have ricocheted and maybe Wigan would have gone on to it. And I get the feeling there's another score. This perhaps is where you put it in the corner and then one drive and put on a set pattern move. Will Tompkins come in? He hasn't blended into the three-quarter line all that much tonight. Maybe late in the game we'll see a little bit of skill from the fullback.
Well, it's now 29-12 to Hull Kingston Rovers in the qualifier at the AJ Bell Stadium. This is Smith. He went for the interception. Did Adam Swift? It didn't quite come off.
Well, it did in the end because Swift put the opposition just off the scheme and he had to turn around for it there. just got to him, didn't he? And just made sure that Josh Charnley would make a good play at it. There's some tired players out there.
Yeah, they'll appreciate the fortnight off, won't they, these two?
And when you think about it, I suppose that we keep saying that Kieran Cunningham will be upset about a lot of aspects within the game. Sam Tompkins will be with John Wells at full time, of course. Should be very interesting. It was a game inside out, Sam, that's for sure. But Kieran Cunningham, you might say to himself, well, Gellin's try could have been stopped. The intercept, and then, of course, the other one was just the lovely short pass from John Bateman. So it isn't as though they've been absolutely hammered.
No, they haven't been hammered, but the scoreline is grim reading for St Helens. They've tried their hardest, there's no question. There's been no lack of effort. I think somebody said, oh, the knock on. Yet another knock on.
It's been his night as well, because Jordan Turner over the past few weeks has been in sensational form.
I think that's one of the things that both teams will talk about after the match, whichever team won or lost. Respecting possession a little bit better, because if they play against Hull or Warrington, who are on the top of their form, I'm not sure they'll get away with the lack of respect, I think, of possession, really. When they've had the ball, they've made so many mistakes, and some of them are unforced, really. I know one or two, the hands have been in there, but I don't think they've respected possession enough here to win a grand final.
Smith gives it to Bateman. Do Wigan have one last laugh left in them? Well, Jordan Turner is down and injured. The referee just calls time off so as he can receive some treatment. And the last thing they need is an injury to Jordan Turner.
Just seemed to go in awkward there.
He bangs John Wilkins' hip, doesn't he? I think that's the problem. It's a head bang, head knock.
Yeah, he goes round. He got the head round the back of Bateman, and Wilkins came in with the hip, and his own teammate, a big headache. Checking him out, make sure he's going to be A-OK. There's the collision. Not being a good night for the St Helens fans, the players. I'm sure their coach Kieran Cunningham will make that quite clear that they've been outplayed tonight. He's a straight shooter.
We're there, lads, let him get off! John!
He won't make any excuses. Come out with the truth.
So the play the ball will continue the tackle count for Wigan. Tautai thought he was on his way to the line, halted by those three. Salford have lost 29-12, Hull Kingston Rovers. A bit of a hole developing for the Red Devils. Here is Tompkins. This now Tautai. Marauding run gets it away. Sargent serve. No, it isn't Williams. George Williams it is, but it's not given yet. Didn't see anything wrong with the grounding. They haven't tried.
Just check the grounding, please. That's out the other side of the post.
The grounding's okay, Stuart. First look.
I think Ben's problem is that he was on the wrong side of the post. Couldn't see where the grounding was, so just wants to check that at this stage of the game. Looked all right from first view. Keeps the ball off the ground, so the tackle's not complete, and it goes down over the line. No problem at all. They're still in possession. That's a try. Try will be confirmed.
George Williams, last year's Young Player of the Year, has made it 23-0 to the Wigan Warriors, and the night is complete.
Yeah, nice finish for the young son. He's had a tremendous season. Like you say, Young Player of the Year, and it certainly must be in the running as well, because of the big one. And that was a beautiful pass from Tautai.
I'll tell you what's so impressive. It's he who drove the ball back inside there. He makes that pass to Sam Tompkins. He stays alive on the play though, doesn't he? And he's probably Wigan's most natural attacking player. That was instinctive. It wasn't pre-structured. He just knew, get yourself near the ball. There's a chance of a try here. He proved it. 4 points from the post. This will take him to 25 points. And a pretty good night for Matthew Smith and co.
Indeed. And 25-0 it is. And for all their effort and all their endeavour, Saints have come up with nothing. And it will not please Kieran Cunningham. As I say, I'm sure he'll be proud of the effort that his men have put in. Despite the scoreline, they've kept it going, but invention, nil point.
going to be certainly confused with the way that they have been playing. But I mentioned before the game that you need to have that power in the forwards. Wigan have had that. Saints certainly have not matched it.
Stay behind, boys.
A very well controlled victory by Wigan tonight, and we should see the smile on the coach Sean Wayne.
That's the 70th meeting between the two. This is the 34th victory for Wigan. 71 meetings, 33 wins to Saints, 4 draws. We felt that they needed to steady the ship and rediscover the form as the quest continues for this 4th successive appearance in a grand final. And, Warrington and Hull having distractions of their own and having had to play each and every week during the course of the season. That quest will continue.
And we just saw a replay of the big hit. And there's been plenty out there tonight.
That ricocheted off the back of the St Helens player. Charlie nearly had it, and I think that will do us. Don't think there'll be any hurry to put this scrum down. The siren is on its way in a second's time. There we go. Well, he will be delighted. Sean Wayne will be absolutely delighted with this. Gelling with a hat-trick. Smith impeccable with the boot apart from once. Williams with the try right on the stroke of full time. 25 points to 0 against the side breathing down your neck in the top 4 of the Super 8s. It doesn't really come much better than that for the Wigan Warriors.
Yeah, and the fans were certainly behind them, and what a future. Quick glance there of George Williams and Sargentson, and it has been a great team effort. Keep saying, get the forwards, get the platform, get the defensive qualities. And to be fair, over the past few years, the defensive qualities have risen to the surface. It's becoming more and more difficult to score tries in Super League these days. It needs superhuman skill and certainly a lot more effort and determination, which was on show tonight from Wigan. I'm afraid St Helens, they lack a lot of that throughout the full 80 minutes.
Well, time to name the first utility man of the match in this Super 8 game, and it is, of course, the hat-trick hero himself, Anthony Gelling. He's with Angela Powers.
Yeah, the man of the match, the man of the hero, hat-trick hero indeed. You must have enjoyed that, and to do it against St Helens and to nil them, very, very special.
Yeah, it's really special. Great crowd, a lot of noise, great atmosphere, and yeah, it's great to be back.
You took your chances, didn't you, Anthony?
Yeah. Kind of just, I don't know how things worked out, but they just did. It's just good to be back from injury. It's really hard when you're injured and not playing. I just want to give a special mention to Don Manfredi, who done his knee last week. He's looking at 6 months on the sideline, and he was in line for an England jersey. And also Pat Richards, Wigan legend. I was looking forward to playing him here during the Super 8s, but he's had to call quits on his career. But just an absolute legend and a guy I've always looked up to. So I just want to say, well done, Paddy, and congrats on a mad career. Be down Boar's Head tonight with this baby.
Very magnanimous of you, that, Anthony. But we saw those 3 tries that you scored, but the defence really was key here for you tonight.
Yeah. My edge, especially. John Bateman just worked his socks off all night, like he always does. He's walking around with blood dripping everywhere. He's just, he's a soldier. He just does it every week. And Matty Smith and Chandler's had to swap sides this week. Everyone just pulled together. It was mad effort.
Well, you really are a showman, and you showed up tonight. Well done, Anthony. Thank you. We now have Kieran Cunningham, the St Helens coach. Kieran, it was a tough one, wasn't it? Their defence really kept you out, but errors, execution, maybe there were areas that you...
I can't fault the effort for the majority of the team. We hung in there and we tried hard for each other, but we give away 50% of the ball. We give it away every time we got a foothold in the game. We just give them cheap possession, and that's not how you win big games of rugby. You're playing against a very good Wigan side, and you've got to keep hold of the ball, and you've got to kick it long and put them in bad places, and we didn't do that. We hurt ourselves tonight.
Yeah, you didn't really test their defence as you can do, as we've seen you do.
No, we wasn't great with the ball. We never kept hold of it for one, but it wasn't great. It's been a bit of a broken week for us. With young Teo's been out for 6-7 weeks, and he comes back in after one training session. But there's no excuses from our side. we got beat by a better side tonight.
You did miss a bit of direction, would you say?
I thought we did, yeah. We looked a little bit frantic, but that's rugby league, the boys have been on a bit of a good run, and it was always going to come to an end at one point, and unfortunately tonight was the night, but we've got to regroup now and get ready for next time.
It doesn't give you that. You wanted that cushion really of another 2 points, but not quite there yet.
No, not quite there, but it wasn't really about the result for me. It was about the performance, and I didn't think we did ourselves proud tonight. I don't think we showed what we can do as a club and as a group, but there's always next time.
Thanks for your time, Kieran.
A magnificent run of 7 consecutive Super League victories comes to an end for St Helens and Kieran Cunningham at the hands of the Wigan Warriors. Sam Tompkins playing his role. He will be with John at the touch screen after a very short break. Before that though, John, I want to look at what you thought broke that game or pushed that game in the direction of the Wigan Warriors. They scored 4 tries, Gelling with a hat-trick, but again in the Super 8s for the 3rd time we see a side nilled, and it's probably on that you want to start, that defensive foundation.
It's without a shadow of a doubt. It's Wigan have, I said it before the game, they flattered to deceive, and when I say that, I am referring to their attack, of course. I mean, the 2 sides that sit above them have scored nearly 200 points in excess of where Wigan sit in the points for column. Points against, though, they're averaging around 18.5 points a game now because of...
Bettered only by the Warrington Wolves then.
Yeah, and again in evidence, and this was a period we expected a response from St Helens. You can imagine what Kieran Cunningham's message was to the boys. You start putting some sets together, start putting some pressure on, and really test this defence. Well,
but might that be a message, John, going forward, just on that? He did make the point they didn't do enough with the possession they had. They coughed up too much possession. He would give that message perhaps to his team, saying, listen, hold on to the ball, you will challenge teams, you will threaten teams, unlike he did tonight.
Well, that brushstroke can be applied across Super League. The defences are not good enough in Super League that they can't be broken down with a sustained period of pressure. Defences across the rugby world are not good enough to withstand sustained pressure. That's what St Helens weren't able to do. When they had pointed pieces of pressure like this, I thought individuals like Frank Nuasala here, have a look at his effort late on. Sam Tompkins makes first contact, but getting underneath James Robin, not many people who can do that to turn him over. That on the 51st minute. 53rd minute, a wayward offload from your hat-trick hero Gelling, dropped and spilt by Bateman. But have a look at Josh Charnley, the foot race with Adam Swift. I mean, people would pay to see that on its own. That's fantastic work, great cover work, and then into touch to boot. The one that impressed me, again, this is more of a systems thing. People ask very often, why do you put a fullback in the loose forward position in a defensive scrum? Well, I'll give you your answer right now, because on the occasions when players, good young players like Matt Fleming, break through the line, there's people who play at fullback who pack down at loose forward. They can come up with great pieces of defence like that. So with a duck egg against St Helens' name, the game was obviously broken with pieces of defence like that.
And a fairly quiet game in attack from Sam Tompkins. He's yet to spark in that area for the Wigan Warriors, but defensively, him and his side were very good tonight. They've held St Helens scoreless, and Wigan Warriors have all but ensured themselves a place in the 2016 Super League semi-finals. Sam Tompkins coming up with John Wells after a very short break.